We think it's all about people. People who get married and live happily ever after. People who get married and grow apart. People who are saving to get to the Caribbean. People who just want to get to the end of the month.
Oh, trying again tonight. What I want to try and do is, where it's up to now, weld all the unfinished joints that weren't done on the jig. So we've got a jack between the axle and the spindle in tight, so that can't move. When you're welding up, there's a tendency for the back ends to pull in, so that will help stop that from happening. Also, the rest of the bracing, the rest of the strength isn't in yet, so that can always be pushed out a bit before the next welding session. This will be a big one, so we'll probably get our kid to speed up the video a bit, and I'll stop if there's anything I need to tell or explain to anyone. There's the first one in. I've got a couple of little bits to fill on this where that's been mitered so that the tube can blend into the axle plate. I might just try and do that now with no filler rod. A blob of filler at the beginning to cool it down a bit because it was set for a bit hot for that job.
Imagine how it feels when £10,000. Like you smashed it and set for life. You can win £10,000 every month for 30 years. Set for life from the National Lottery. Your members make amazing happen by Thursday on app, online and in-store. Prize may be capped. Account terms, rules, procedures, and specific rules apply. Players must be 16 or older.
It's time to look forward to getting away. From aquajetting to painting pots, archery.
This little seam here I've just filled. Be able to polish that out, no problem. When it goes with paint, you never see it. I won't go right round the back of that one yet. So I'm going to do that from the top. That way all the beads are rolling in the same way. Doesn't affect it in any way, just looks prettier. This camera probably doesn't like too much closer. At this point it's probably worth showing you what I do at where these axle plates meet the tubes. I go about 80% through the tube when I'm cutting it off, and then I leave this miter on the end, so where I've put this extra bit of cut here, that gives you enough breathing space to knock this down, and it finishes the tube off better, where it blends into the actual plate. It's just neater than cutting it straight off and welding it up and filling it up with weld. Doesn't add any strength in any way, I don't think. It just looks neater on the outside. So I'll just set the camera up and I'll get that one knocked into place, and then I'll weld up both these sides. So I've figured out the focus problem on the camera now. Big pile of grinding dust all over the lens. Never mind, eh? I just went ahead and finished off these corners and blended those little mitre cuts in. Yeah, it's still not focusing so well, but I think you get the idea. I polished those welds off on the edges and just left the main welds in. I don't know whether later on I'll blend them a bit before powder coat. Don't know, depends how neat we decide to go with this before the paint. I'll leave that up to the lad whose bike it is, you know. But I've done both sides now. They're both in. So next up, gotta get round the rest of the bike and finish things like that. That's looking a bit gnarly, but the gap's good. One thing about building frames is these mitre cuts, these like baloney cuts, getting them dead neat and getting them to fit onto each tube, onto the next tube. That's something that I don't know if you can teach it, but I don't have a tube notcher. I just do these by hand. Well, as you see, there's a fair few meters of weld to get through, so I'll just crack on. I'll keep on press and play on the camera, and our kid can splice it all together and hopefully give you the speeded up version of my evening. Cheers, thanks again.
And then thought,
It's where this single down tube meets, I don't know, wishbone for want of a better term. As you can see, there's a bit of a unacceptable gap there, so I'm going to go with that with the hammer. Beat it in closer and close up that little mouth there.
Visit UK to book your place and find out more about our further savings. Our human windows may be closed, but our virtual ones are.
available on Newcastle. You can do it all off-road in whatever Mother Nature serves up. The Ford Ranger One track, built for the office and the one.
Visit the latest attack on her character. The allegations claim she drove out two personal assistants and humiliated workers on several.
There's a rat, there's a rat. Great, because you singing if you're not respected. So, yeah.
Right, that's it for the welding session this time. Obviously there's a lot more to do, but I'll put the bike back together and weld a bunch more bits on and get it more complete before I go back into that again. There's obviously a lot of things I'm going to add to it, you know, components that need the bike to work, but the main structure of the frame is now covered now. There's other little detail bits I'm going to add, like where the down tube meets this wishbone. There's a lot of undercut on the weld there. I'm gonna run over this with the MIG welder later on and blend it all in smooth afterwards. So this TIG weld is all just going to be a root.